And I have 10 minutes?
Yes.
10
Okay.
spectacular minutes with, with two pussycats. You're gonna love it.
Awesome.
You're gonna love every minute.
Awesome. Nice to meet you. I'm Ariana.
Hi,
Hi,
Ariana.
Ariana. Nice to meet you.
So, how do you guys become friends? I hear that you guys been friends for quite some time.
Who's saying that?
Not
That's so
true.
fun. Yeah,
Not
we never met. We had never met till this film. I love that. You know what? If people walk away thinking that, but we felt that way. Well, when we heard that Colm had read the script and responded to it, we were delighted. Wally, my co-writer, and I, who thought that's perfect. And I said, totally can see and hear and smell the movie. And I thought our rhythms would be funny together and great, conflict. He's such a solid actor, and Colm is one of these guys that I always love actors who are funny without necessarily going for the joke and who can straddle that fence between comedy and a seriousness. You think of Jack Lemmon or Alan Arkin. Those guys, like, they can break your heart and they're just really naturally funny. And when we read the script the first time, just at a table read, we just went, this feels really good. So we became friends, and but we had never met till we started.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Paul, what was your inspiration for writing the story and also setting it in Ireland and making it a comedy? Because you guys have done comedy and dramedies before.
Dramedies. Well, I kind of worked backwards. The whole reason for the movie was I wanted to make a movie in Ireland because I'd been there years ago and loved it, and I loved every movie that takes place in Ireland. I go, oh, wouldn't that be nice? In the movie, my character is watching a movie called Local Hero, which we don't say it, but for those who know it, they know it. And that was really my inspiration. I saw that movie in 1983 and thought I would like to make that. So I spent a couple of years banging around and trying to come up with a story. And when we hit upon the idea that, oh, it's a family feud, that these two guys who've never met are going to try and resolve a generations long fight, I thought that's really funny. And there's also a bit of a message, if I can use that word. It's like, well, most conflicts are between people who want the same thing. They shouldn't necessarily be fighting. So how do you resolve it? It's like, well, we can't solve the world. Let's try and take one family and see if they can do it. And even they had a hard time. But that's where the comedy comes from.
Yeah. Calm, do you think Ciáran is jealous of Barry? Because I never got the impression, but this is just me watching the film, that Barry ever had the intention of kind of taking over the family business or the inheritance. Why do you think he automatically is just very protective of like this American coming in?
Yeah.
Well, I think I don't think he's jealous of him. I think he's kind of curious about him. He's curious about what life is like in New York, and he as he says, he wants to see the world and all that. And so there's that kind of curiosity. But I just think it's just too much of the Yank arrives, meets the father dies, and the will is changed. Now hold on a second. Wait,
Hang on.
the father never said anything to me about this, and so I, I mean, I think he's just so surprised and shocked that it's a kind of a knee-jerk reaction that the father has done this, which leads him to suggest that maybe, just maybe, he was in the room alone with my dad, and maybe,
also,
maybe he just took a pillow and helped him along the way.
There's also, it's not really hit too strongly, but Ciáran comes from this little tiny village. He's never seen the world, maybe never even left the town, let alone the country. Barry is this big wheeler dealer in New York, and Ciáran has this maybe unspoken desire to see the world, I'm tired of this little town. I'm tired of taking care of my father. He wants to see the world. And here is this guy, Barry, who, well, he's in magazine articles and he's a bit of a mover and shaker. So almost no doing on my own, I think there was a resentment of like, oh, the big fancy Yank is coming. I mean, that's just, I think, built into the cake. Oh, here's the big fancy American. I didn't do anything. I'm coming over in good faith. But again, that's the problem with people. There's already jealousy and bias and prejudice built in when you meet somebody. It ain't good, but it's human.
Yes. Why do you think Kieran's dad left half of everything to Barry?
Well, I think it's in the dad's mind, it's to kind of seal the deal. That peace has been made, which was his dying wish, and in order to kind of seal it and prove conclusively that it's done and dusted, he is going to bring Barry into the family, as it were, by giving him
Yeah.
half of everything.
Yeah, and it was to make good on the original sin, which was these two brothers who came over 120 years ago and ended up on the different sides. He wanted to come back to America. He will come back to Ireland, and then you see him looking at that photo, the one photo that the brothers took. It's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to honor my great grandfather or my grandfather by bringing the families together. So it's we all listen. What is what is the whole war in Russia about? I want to bring back the Russian Empire. I want to make it the way my ancestors have. Well, that's sometimes good, sometimes not good. Um, but yes, we all have this desire to make good on our ancestors' legacy, and it was a lovely gesture. But understandably, Kieran is like, this guy just got here yesterday. Why is he getting half of my property?
Yes.
So that's where the comedy starts.
Yeah. Speaking of comedy, what was your favorite scene to shoot for both of you guys?
Colm.
Oh, I think the scene we were talking about earlier, the scene in the room between the three of us in your hotel room
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
was delightful, and we kind of anticipated that actually, and it was just the even rehearsing it was such great fun. The pace of it, the rapid changes in sympathies, and like she's with him, then she's with me, I'm with her, and then I'm with him, and then she's with
Yeah.
him. It's just a wonderful piece of writing and a wonderful piece of comedy writing, I think.
That's something about being in an enclosed space that makes everything bigger and funnier and more dramatic. So we had great fun. I would have said that's probably my
I
favorite
also
thing as
really
well.
enjoyed the scene where I'm outside explaining to Porrick, at the dad's funeral, and I'm
Yeah.
explaining to Porrick, but did you think of this? Did you think of that? And then she comes out, and I really enjoyed playing that as well, I have to say.
Yes. Why do you think Barry is kind of instantly happier in Ireland? And do you think that Kieran has that peace or could have that peace if he left Ireland to see the world?
Yeah, I think that was part of the symmetry of it. The two brothers ended up on, divided by the ocean. And it was always sort of my mind that maybe these guys, Kieran and Barry, maybe there's a piece missing from each of them. They, each, without saying it, they each kind of wanted what the other one had, and that was often the case with people. It's like, what's at the core of it? And so even though my character is this big business, fancy wheeler dealer, it's like, I never talked about it, but this is kind of nice what you have. And he's going, I wish I had what you had. So there's always those jealousies, as part of what separates people.
Yes. You guys have starred in so many projects, some more recognizable than others, kind of more in like the pop culture is you guys. Is there a project that people stop you about and you're like, oh, I can't believe that was the one you mentioned?
Somebody saw that?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a couple actually. I mean, one Paul mentioned earlier there about the film I'd done
Parked.
that nobody saw. It was called Parked.
Yeah.
It was a very very beautiful film. First time director in Ireland, and he did a wonderful job. And Darrell Byrne, and I was very proud of that film. And a couple of times people have stopped me, and I'm like shocked by, wow, you saw
Yeah.
that. The other one was How Harry Became a Tree, which was the great Goran Pascalovich, who was to me one of the great auteur directors in Europe. He it was a Chinese short story. He decided to set in Ireland. He's Serbian, brings a Serbian crew. We shoot this picture, and it was wonderful. It was at the Venice Film Festival. It was huge acclaim. And then we were on our way to Toronto Festival, and 9/11 happened.
Oh, wow.
That was the end of it. It just disappeared without a trace, you know.
Wow.
And yeah,
What's it called? When Harry what? What's
it's
it called?
what?
What's it called?
How Harry Became a Tree.
How Harry Became a Tree. Wow.
But it's in my of my the work I've done. It's in my top three
I
favorites.
got to check it out.
Mm.
You know, somebody asked before what was my favorite performance of Colm's, and I missed the big one was The Journey, which was another two-hander, which was sort of the adult version of this movie. It's like actual peace talks of Ireland and Northern Ireland. It's like, oh, it's two guys in a car. How do we settle this? I mean, that right? I mean, that was really the bigger scale of this.
Tim
Beautiful performance.
Tim Spall was such a wonderful partner in that as well.
Oh,
great
that's
actor.
great.
Yes. Paul, for me, my movie or project that I feel is kind of less obscure, and it was, I guess, a bit obscure for like an 8-year-old. I loved Bye Bye Love. That was just my movie at like 8 years old. That, like,
Really?
when I think of you, it's that movie.
Were your parents divorced?
Not at that time, like a year later, but I've never looked at McDonald's.
Might have been the movie. The
Again.
movie persuades a lot of people to go, you know what, that's it. Well, that's very nice. Yeah, it's sometimes we're impacted by movies because of where we are and when we see them. I mean, I remember there were movies that were terrible, but that meant a lot to me as a kid. It's like, because I just remember, I don't know, whatever it was, I had the right cocoa and like, oh, this is a great movie. It's not a great movie. But yeah, I'm always surprised. I did the only other movie that I wrote and produced was a movie about almost 20 years ago. Yeah, 20 years ago with Peter Falk. And it was a very personal movie. I love Peter Falk, and I wrote the movie for Peter because I wanted to play with Peter Falk. And it very limited release. Very few people saw it. But to this day, if somebody goes, I love that movie, I'm like, oh, you saw it. I'm so happy because it came out well, and I knew it wasn't going to be, Mission Impossible. But so I'm always struck and pleased when somebody sees it. This, however, is going to be a huge hit because of what you're going to do, Ariana. You're going to get the word out, and this will be a massive, massive hit. The little sleeper of the season.
Yes, it will be.
All right. God bless you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I can't wait to talk to you about future projects, and congratulations.
Thank you, Ariana.
Thanks so much.
Talking to you. Bye-bye.
Bye.